All right, let's talk about one of the toughest balancing acts out there, working a full-time job and being a full-time student. If that's you, you know it's a grind. Today, we're going to break down the 168-hour blueprint. This isn't just about time management. No, it's about re-engineering your entire week from the ground up.
Sound familiar? I bet it does. Trying to pull off a 40-hour work week while also acing your college courses, man, it can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. You've got career demands, paper deadlines, lectures, and somewhere in all that chaos, you're supposed to have a life. It's a huge undertaking.
And you know what? That feeling that it's just impossible, that's 100% valid. But here's the mental flip we have to make. This isn't a problem of willpower or trying to find more hours in the day. Nope, it's an engineering problem. It's about taking the time you do have and becoming a master architect of every single hour.
And this is our starting point, 168. That's it. That's the number of hours everybody gets in a week. You can't buy more, you can't find more. So the game isn't about wishing for a 200-hour week, it's about mastering the 168 you've got.
Okay, so where do we even begin? With an audit. Think of it like a financial audit, but for your time. Before you build a budget, you have to know where your money is going, right? Well, it's the same deal here. We have to turn those vague commitments into cold, hard data. And we're going to start with the biggest variable of them all, your classes. And this is the rule that changes everything. It's the credits times multiplier rule. See, the number one mistake people make is only counting the hours they're physically in a classroom. But that's not where the real work happens, is it? The real time investment is all the stuff you do outside of class. This formula gets you the real cost. Now, check this out, because this is where it gets really eye-opening. A standard class? Yeah, you're looking at maybe 2 to 3 study hours for every credit hour. But look at that bottom row. Online and accelerated courses, the very classes that so many of you take for the flexibility, they can demand up to 6 hours of study per credit. That means your 3-credit online course isn't 3 hours a week, it's 18 hours a week. That is literally a part-time job all by itself.
So we've got our academic numbers. Now let's move to the other giant rock in the jar, your job. For you, it's 40 hours a week. And it's so important to understand what that number actually means for your academic success. And look, this isn't about scaring you. It's about proving why your strategy has to be absolutely top-notch.
20. Just remember that number. All the research, all the data from universities points to this. 20 hours of work per week. That's the tipping point. The line in the sand where, for the average full-time student, grades really start to take a hit. And you're operating at double that every single week. And if you think that's just a suggestion, listen to this. The National Center on Education Statistics found that students working more than 20 hours a week are more than twice as likely to drop out. Twice! So this isn't just you feeling stressed. The numbers back it up. This is exactly why a generic planner from the bookstore isn't going to cut it. You're in a high-performance zone, and you need a pro-level game plan.
Okay, enough with the scary numbers. We've done the audit, we know the reality of the challenge, now for the good part. Now we become the architects. We're going to take all that data and start actually building your schedule, a sustainable system designed specifically for someone pulling off this incredible balancing act.
So, take a look. This is what a balanced week looks like for a student working a more typical 15 hours. The big thing to notice is that huge slice for fixed essentials. That's sleep, eating, just being a human being. It's almost half the week. Now, imagine your work slice isn't that little 9%. It's a massive chunk that squeezes everything else. That's why we can't afford to waste a single minute. So before we pencil in any study session, we lay the foundation. And these 3 things, they are completely non-negotiable. They go on the calendar first. 8 hours of sleep isn't lazy. It's literally when your brain hits the save button on everything you learned that day. 3 decent meals give you the fuel to actually function. And a little bit of movement keeps the stress from boiling over. You cut these, and the whole system comes crashing down. Period.
And here's what it can look like when we put it all together. This is a template built for you. Notice the strategy here. The toughest studying, the deep work, happens in the early morning. Why? Because your brain is fresh before your job drains it. Lunch isn't just a sandwich, it's a 15-minute blitz on some flashcards. Evenings are for the lighter stuff, maybe watching an online lecture. And the weekends, they're structured. They're for the big projects, but also, and this is key, for actually having a life and planning out the next week's attack.
Right. So having a beautiful schedule on paper is one thing, but what happens when reality hits? Because it always does, right? A project runs late, you get a flat tire, life happens. This last part is all about how to make this blueprint flexible and resilient so it doesn't just shatter the first time things don't go perfectly to plan.
We have to talk about something called the planning fallacy. It's a fancy term for something we all do. We are just terrible at guessing how long a task will take. We are always way too optimistic. Oh, that'll only take an hour. 3 hours later, you're still on it. The solution is the strategic buffer. You literally schedule blocks of empty time into your week. Their only job is to soak up the unexpected.
And these blocks are your secret weapon. That paper taking way longer than you planned? No problem. It spills over into your buffer block, not into your sleep time. Got to make an unexpected phone call or run an errand? Use the buffer. And this is my favorite one. If you are just totally fried, you use that block to take a nap or go for a walk. That's not being lazy. It's a strategic move to recharge so you can actually be productive later.
So what about when it's midterms or finals week? The whole system has to shift into high gear. You have to be ruthless. Look at your schedule, pause the non-essentials, sorry social life, we'll see you in a week, and reallocate that time to pure, focused study. But, and this is the most important rule, you do not sacrifice your foundation. You protect that 8 hours of sleep like it's gold. Pulling an all-nighter is the worst thing you can do. It literally makes your brain worse at remembering stuff.
So let's bring this all home. The most powerful part of all of this isn't the color-coded calendar. It's the mental shift. When you're drowning in work and deadlines, it is so easy to feel like a victim of your schedule. But when you audit your time, when you build the blueprint, when you execute the plan, you're not a victim anymore. You are the architect. You're in charge. So I'll leave you with this. The 168 hours are there. The blueprint is in your hands now. The only real question left is, what are you going to build?